All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hope everyone had a good weekend. It is January 11th, 2026. Let's take a look at our market here. Okay, so we've got a lot of red futures right now going on. Okay, for the futures, it's actually unusual because everyone wants to buy it, on the futures. Everyone that trades at night seems to just only know about buying. But today we're selling. I think the news with Jay Powell being under investigation formally with the subpoenas being issued, I think rattled the markets. They're not prepared for that. As you know, Jay Powell is essentially a sacred deity to the institution, to this market. So they're not going to be happy with what that message it's sending. It's obviously they probably perceive it as pressure for him to resign, or hey, we know inflation's going to be hot this week, and we want you to have, you might want to think about, not lowering rates. It could be a message. So is this getting ahead of that bad news? Who knows? So markets are red. We expected the markets to sell off at some point. We have pullbacks still forecasted across all the world markets, essentially every one I click on. The metals are doing great tonight. And we mentioned the parabolic advance was still underway, right? We saw that. So we look like we're going to make all-time highs in silver again tonight. So anyone who's short will now be underwater. And believe me, I think a lot of people are short. And, we flipped bullish immediately once we saw not necessarily the price level, but the strength of this advance is highly unusual for an end of a cycle. You don't see that. That's typically the sign you're still in the parabolic phase with this type of momentum here. So that's what it looks like we have. Gold, platinum, you take your pick. Palladium, all these metals are likely to go higher. Copper is the wild card. It's a black swan. It will bring, the producers to their knees. Anyone who wants to build plants, build equipment is going to have a massive problem with copper trading at $20 an ounce, $20 soon. I don't think it's, $20. So then we see a lot of inflation and we see oil breaking out. And then we have the interest rate situation, which would likely go higher. So you've got all these factors and the maximum complacency amongst market participants. Nobody's hedged. No one cares. And no one's protected. So this is the conditions we have going into Q1. Price for perfection. The market's price for perfection. But so much can go wrong. And I just listed a few things. So I've got a lot of super chats to get through, so we're just going to jump into the super chats, guys. There's quite a few tonight. Looks like everyone's coming back from the new year, ready to trade, which is good. So let's start with the first one here. Let's start with the first one here. If you could do a deep dive on Tilray, broke out of the phone, Reg. Look, guys, Tilray MSOS is bullish on the higher time frame. If you're getting caught up, like, what is this? You're not looking at the bigger picture. Okay, so I wouldn't be too concerned, but it did look like the cycle has ended. This 5-wave move is over, and now you're the first wave off the low. So what we like to see is upside tomorrow. Okay, we like to see some upside. If we can get this 3 right here tomorrow and Tuesday, then I would say that's the low. That's the low, and it should remain supported. The problem is if you break this low, you're gonna have no more room to correct. So you likely will break this low down here, and if you break this low, the structure starts to fall apart. But it's still not immediately a wipeout because it could always double correct on a larger time frame. It just needs to stay above this low here, around $3.50. So as of now, we would say it's bullish against 882. If you break 882, it's likely to go lower, likely to break this low. And the next area would end up being some kind of three-wave move, and this would become a three-wave move. And so you'd probably see the price head to somewhere around 551. Okay, 511. $5.11. So for now, we expect it to go higher on the shorter time frame. We have a higher high. Here we have a higher high right here. So that's why we think it should go higher. If you're trying to trade in and out of this, you're doing it all wrong. You need to just sit back and hold and trade something else. This is something you're going to need time on your side, but it should be on your side. Now, the grand super cycle view, obviously the major downtrend is over. We broke that major downtrend with the weekly cycle, but now right, we're in this weekly cycle correction, which may have already ended here. Let's go to the monthly. The monthly has ended its cycle. So your monthly and weekly are bullish. Your daily cycle is about to turn up off of this peak, which is why I'm saying the correction's probably over. It probably did turn up. You see that? You have crossover. So you have your weekly's bullish, your monthly's bullish, your daily is about to turn higher. I don't know what else you're waiting for if you're not long, if you want to be long. So that's all I can say on Tilray, guys. HUT, let's take a look at HUT. HUT, the question around HUT was, let's see here. It made its wave 5. What's it going to do next? Well, we always know on our channel we can extend the 5th wave and it can keep going. We have a lot of bearish divergence here, so we know it's a 5th wave on a higher degree. And then within this impulse, though, you see there's your peak, right? There's your 3 of 5, right here. It's hard to see it, but right here, 3 of 5. And now you're in 5. So it could end at any second, any moment. Could it go a little higher? Yeah, maybe. Any second. So it can end at any moment, and it's likely to do so. Okay, it's not likely to extend, but I can't say it's not impossible. So the pullback would get you probably somewhere back to $28 when it's all said and done over a multi-month correction. But you haven't, remember, we haven't started the pullback yet. So you don't short it here, nor sell it. You have to wait for confirmation that the reversal has happened. So you're going to have to, eat some of that. If not, you can still extend. Look at what silver's doing. What if it keeps extending? It can keep extending. So if you're trying to time the market, you're doing it wrong. You need to just sit tight and then let the market show you the cycle has ended. It hasn't ended yet, but it can at any moment. We've had, as you can see, we've traded this one very well. Every box here was pretty much profitable. Riot. That's one we haven't looked at in a long time. Riot and Mara here. Let's see. Riot and Mara. Riot. Well, the Bitcoin miners are likely to go lower if Bitcoin goes lower, right? I mean, it's pretty logical, like, connection. I mean, again, we try not to make these connections and trade based on them, but I mean, we have to be realist here. I mean, there's no way Bitcoin's going to go down and Riot's going up. So we're in some kind of connector that's likely to make one more leg down. I think we have a 1-2-1-2 setup that's forming. Okay, so we're looking for another leg lower. This X wave hasn't ended yet. And we want to stay above $6. I think it could push down to maybe $9 or $8 at the final low. Now, one thing you look at on the bigger picture, you do only have 3 waves. So there is a slight possibility that this is a corrective bounce. The one sign for it to be corrective is there's no momentum divergence at this peak on most of the time. So here, that's usually not a corrective move. Now, you see how we erased divergence there? That's typically corrective when you see that, and the monthly as well. So there is a small chance that it's corrective. And what you would want to watch is this trend line on the monthly cycle. If we were to break that, then unfortunately, it's actually a corrective move. It's not impulsive. We would have to flip the count to an A, B, C. This would be a connector wave, and you would have a W, an X, and then you would have a Y, and that means you would break these lows. And it may not even survive, but assuming it did, it would make a whole nother 3-wave move down with massive capitulation. So so I would expect more downside for now, and that's all I can say on it. In fact, X could be here. That could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be an AB. It could be ready for the next leg lower. And Mara is probably the same setup. It's the same setup. We want to see it hold this low. This has 5 waves up, and then 3 and a connector, and then another 3. Now, what happens if we break the low? Well, then it's a connector off of this peak. It's an A, B, C. This would be your W, and then you'd have X, and then you would have Y. So this one I don't think would go down as far as Riot would, but it would still break these lows and capitulate. It may not be as bad. So this one may not be as bearish as Riot on that type of scenario. Yeah, it would still go down. So again, you're running out of room to the downside. So we're in this X wave. We need what we need to see is the next leg lower, like with Bitcoin. We don't have it yet because it's kind of meandering around, wandering around, searching for buyers, hoping that people will step in and buy it. And it's just nobody seems interested in buying it. So it just kind of wanders around. But at some point, the market makers will have to mark it down and find the liquidity the market will need. It can't just wander around here forever. So the longer it stays around doing nothing, the more likely the downside move is. So both of these are still forecasted lower. Now, if we can come out and take out these peaks, 1076 and 1666, that could create another leg higher in the connector wave. So that would delay the inevitable. Okay, in Riot and Mara, we can go to the higher time frame. It looks like Mara is already broken its cycle. Look at that. It's already broken down. So in some ways, if I was being orthodox, to my system, which I, probably should be, I should probably be forecasting these lows to break. So I think this is one that you need to be careful. And if these are going to break, Riot may break it as well. So I know it's sad. People want the crypto to go higher. It will in the future. It's just in a decline now phase, right? It's just in a decline phase. But it will go higher in the future. But just remember, your stock you own may not go higher because once you're in a grand super cycle decline off of a high, you may go out of business. So there's no guarantee these firms will survive. And in fact, I'm going to update our chart here to reflect the new bearish view, looking at the RSI tonight for the first time. So Riot would likely break these lows. And we never really saw a good bounce. Remember, Riot bounced pretty nice, right? We had that nice bounce in Riot here. Mara lagged. I think this is the consequences of that lag. It wasn't able to create space, So, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. And we're going to have to go lower, and it looks something like this for right now. All right. So I would say abandon ship. All right. It's abandoned ship. And you can do with that information what you see fit. All right. UMAC is a good one. It is in a box that you can buy right now if you want to buy it. I mean, I don't know if you're aggressive. It hasn't made a new high, so there's no guarantee this would go higher. It was in a box here for elite members. Some took it, some ignored it, but it doesn't matter. It came out of the box with a lot of upside, and we're finishing up a major cycle. Once this is finished, they'll have a major pullback, okay? Make no mistake, it will crash spectacularly. So a lot of the move will be over soon once we break 23. These boxes are meaningless. This was just me playing around one day. So I think for right now, you have one more swing higher, and see. You should take this peak out, and then after that, it's going to go into a correction, something like you saw here. All right. But again, we've been following this since the beginning. Look, we've had boxes all throughout this journey. So here's another one I'm giving you guys tonight if you guys want it, because you were asking about it. There's your pullback. There's your price. It may be too late. It may already be bouncing. So you may wake up and it may be at 15 and it's too late. You missed the dip. The dip came on Friday and you missed the dip. That's how quick the market is sometimes. But this was a clean 3-wave dip. But we'll know tomorrow. You'll know tomorrow because it will react out of this violently higher. If we don't do that and it goes lower, let's say it reacts and makes, then you can buy it again. Because this is likely 5 up, it's likely got this next push higher. Then the next one, so those are the prices on that box. It's in there. That's the pullback level. It's in it right now. Zcash, do we see it falling? Yeah, we do. And Zcash is one that we've been keeping an eye on. The developers all quit. Let me go to my Zcash chart. It's getting a little more red tonight, I think. Very interesting. Let's see here. Let me go to Zcash. Zcash. This chart looks like this right now. Okay. This was kind of a day trader's, box. You could buy that box, trade it up, and then I gave this triangle. You could have played the triangle out for this C leg and then got out. And then the developers all quit. Go figure, right at the X here. And so now this has got to play its cycle out to the downside, the final leg lower. So we're looking for 117, maybe as low as $80. So will it go to 200? Yeah, it's going to 200, but it's probably going lower than that. The W is probably going to bounce there. You're probably going to get your W, and that will be another sucker's rally, and there'll be another leg lower, more than likely. Why do we think that? Because typically crypto comes back to the wave 4 cluster. We lose the whole 5th wave, blow off top. That's the criteria. It almost always does that. And that's the box. And in fact, that's the box off of this connector wave. So you have this perfect alignment. We've always had this idea it was going to come back here. And now the technicals align with the idea. And this is the box. But again, it's in a grand super cycle decline. Maybe it never comes back from its... so there's no guarantee. But if it were to come back, this is the level it would come back from. Why do people care about the developers leaving? I mean, the coin still works. Well, they were supposed to be working on quantum proof in this thing, and now they're gone. And so I don't know if anyone's working on that anymore. So that was like a main appeal of this, right? It was going to be quantum proof potentially. They were working on proving it, but I guess they decided to rug pull everyone on this. They made too much money, and they just wanted to rug pull the community. But that's how crypto is, guys. That's how it works. I mean, sadly, no accountability apparently. All right. So I think do we get a bounce to 500? Unlikely, highly unlikely. I would be shocked if we got a bounce to 500. If you're hoping for a bounce to 500, yeah, forget it. I highly think it's highly unlikely looking at this structure. Maybe 440 if you're lucky. Okay, the next set of questions come here. Let's see here. SMX. All right, SMX. So we lose our chart. Must have done some kind of reverse split, so we'll just have to do this here. So we're trading bullish off this low. Now we see here we erased divergence, so it's just a corrective bounce. So there's no guarantee we'll ever come back here. It could never come back. If you're holding out hope that it's coming back here, may never happen. It may go all the way down again to 0. This is a go to 0 chart. So we know that. So now what you have to do is just watch the price action. So it broke this low. It moved. It looks like it's moving impulsive. It looks like it's about to break the all-time low. So I would be really careful trading it here on the long side. I mean, I would be looking for it to make an impulsive move lower. And we could just start counting the waves down. And you can, try to trade it if that's how your system works. I never like to trade the count, but this is the count for now. So maybe we'll make a 5th wave, and then we'll have a bigger bounce, and then finish this 5. Once this 5 is finished up, you'll have a big rally, right? That's a big rally, but that rally will be to be shorted. So whenever this comes, that would be a short opportunity, and then it would really melt down. QNTM is in a really cool setup, and I like this because it hit a box, it had a nice reaction, and it looks like it made a 3-wave move, and it found the low here, and it's trying to come out. So I would just kind of hang tight on this one, and if we're lucky enough, we get Y and make a lot of money on it. So maybe this is one of these big runners. I don't know why it would do it. I don't know the fundamentals behind it. It just needs to stay above 5, like this low, 553, It's got to stay above it. If it can't stay above it, then this bullish setup is lost. Okay, it's lost. So this is the only way it works. And I believe, looking at it from a shorter time frame view, let's go to the daily. Yeah, just not quite there yet. So I want to call that the low. It could go a little further down and break this with one more capitulation candle or something like that. But we need to stay above this low. If we go any higher, then the low's in, and it should be okay. All right. So that one looks pretty good. In RGC, just kind of looking at it here, we had this one. It looks like it did a double correction off of our box, boom, and then it made the 3 we were looking for. So now it's in a 4-wave, so it should do, an impulse like we have and top out. Now, what I don't like about these biotechs is sometimes it's 3. Remember, it could be corrective. So there's no guarantee of a 5. I'm assuming we'll get a 5. Because I think the right way to label it for now. But if we break below 34.18, it would be a corrective move. That means we'll go back to those lows. It would lose everything. Pump and dump. It'd be a pump and dump. This is a more bullish view, and probably the better way to label it for now. And once you make the 5, then you have a bullish breakout, a real one. But once 5 is done, it corrects anyway. But at least you'll have a floor to work with. So we're looking for that on RGC. So let's see here. Let's keep going, taking a look at the next one. Yeah, so I think SMX is not as bullish as you think. I think QNTM and RGC are bullish. So I think 2 out of 3 get my vote. But I can be wrong, so do what's best for you. All right, next set of questions here. Let's take a look. VCuff here. A lot of people don't use WXYs because they don't understand the theory, and they don't use RSI to help them navigate the corrective structure. WXYs are 3-wave corrections. They're not 5-wave. They're not in a 5. They're subdivided into 3s, not 5s. They're not an ABC, and so a lot of people don't understand that. One, because they don't understand WXY, XY, and Y, WXY, and then Z corrections. They don't understand it, and they don't use the RSI, and we use that quite often. So it's an advantage that you guys have by following me. Because a lot of people just ignore it because they just think of Elliott waves as ABCs. Because that's easy, right? Zigzag. Every correction's a zigzag. When it's actually kind of rare, I've noticed. ABC corrections aren't as common as people think. All right, so VCuff is another one of these go to zeros, right? Go to zero. And it's coming off of this low. It's breaking the whole cycle, obviously, right? It looks like it's ending the whole cycle. Here, actually, that ended the cycle, so it's in a flat connector. Let's take a look here. So it's in some kind of a flat connector, more than likely. So it's probably doing something like this, right? So we need an impulse up. I mean, it's not something I would personally trade. I mean, when you look at it, it literally is go to zero. It's like goes to zero, right? Just massive dilution. So this is probably an impulsive move that ended, right? So you're in some kind of two wave, right? And it'll just keep going down. So you're in probably a two wave right now. And so the question is, when does the two wave end? And as we know, it could keep squeezing. So it may continue. And we have to see 5 on the C leg on the shorter time frame, and we don't see that. So it should continue higher. Right? It should continue higher. But at some point it will have a rug pull, more than likely. We can take a look at the RSI to confirm everything and see. That's the divergence. So it's a 5-wave move down to me. So it's a 5-wave move down. It's just a correction against it. We could try to find the wave 4 and see. It gives us an idea how far it can come back up. So let's take a look. It may get up to about 162 or so. So maybe not that high. Maybe about here. And then that should do it. All right, HUN. HUN is close to bottom, it looks like. Looks like, again, TradingView messing my charts up. So ABC here, and something like this. Again, we'll go through it. We have a flat, a higher high. That's a bullish trend that needs to finish. So it's likely, this one's more likely to go higher than anything else we've seen tonight so far because of that. And the cycle's done. It looks like the cycle's over. Okay, it looks like it to me. You're out of, the count's done. Okay, so it looks like to me the count is over and it's done, the correction. Yeah, it's done. So you would just buy the dip in 3 waves from here on out. As long as you're above 729, it's buy the dips. Okay, buy the dips in 3 waves, and it's about to go into a 3 of 3 off the lows. All right, and of course that low has to hold now. If not, it'll be a devastation to the chart, because then you would have this leg correct, and you run out of room. All right, so it's likely to find support. LMNT looks pretty good too. Lockheed Martin, although it's ending its major cycle soon, but it looks like there's a few more swings to go. So we have a 1-2, 1-2. We're in the finishing up the 3 on the super cycle degree. We need a 5th wave, a 3, a 4, 5. You know, look. So it's going to be like this for the next several years. The easy money's probably over, so just understand that. Now, I can't guarantee that this can't erase divergence, but more likely than not, the easy money's over, and we'll end it something like this is what we're thinking. Higher time frame. There's your 3 of 3 peak on the weekly, and the only thing here that concerns me is the monthly peak is kind of early. So we may see a blow off top here, and that would bring the monthly up further. So there may be the right way to do this chart would be something like this here, where this 3 and this 5 is more extended. So you may see an extended 5th wave to get that monthly peak, the monthly peak here. All right, so something like that. Maybe something like that. I don't know, just giving you my idea on it. But it's more upside. It should be more upside. Now, you see all these waves all overlap a little bit. I don't like that, honestly. Right? So if this starts to extend, this could become another 1-2. And then I'll have to say, no, the easy money isn't done yet. It's actually just beginning. So maybe we need to take that back a little bit and just be a little more open-minded. This could be more bullish than we think. Okay, looking at the monthly RSI and see how these waves overlap. I actually don't really like that, even though I have it labeled this way in a third wave. I don't really like the third wave with overlapping waves like this. So you know what? I think I'm going to change that. Looking at it a second time tonight, we're going to change that because that's typically not what you see in a third wave, right? You see the separation. And when I saw the monthly here, it looks like the monthly is telling you it's got more upside. So we're going to change. We're just going to make the call and call that another 1-2. Okay. We're just going to have to do that. So as you can see, so I take that back. So it does look pretty good. It looks pretty good. Because of the monthly and because of the overlapping waves, it's not likely to be a wave 3 with all those overlapping waves. So we should go higher. I guess war is coming, guys. This chart is saying war is coming. They're going to be getting some money, yeah, from the government, building things. So we're looking at something like this now, this chart. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see here. Let's take a look at the next question. EXR. So this was our last chart we had labeled for it, something like this. And we are looking for that 2 to be done right there. There's your 3 waves. So this is about the breakout. So again, I would be buying dips in 3 waves against 120.86 for a lot more upside. That one's a pretty easy chart to analyze. I think this is one we'll come back to and go, oh yeah, this was easy, but no one bought it. All right, copper is the next question here. Copper is... Let's take a look at your question on copper real quick. I'm just got to read through it. Not sure why I have copper here. Oh yeah, you have the, okay. You want to see the chart on copper. Yeah, copper is, we're still assuming it to top here in this 5th wave as of now, but I would not be, don't do what the silver shorts did and try to short and top ticket. I have this as a 2, but it may already be too late. Okay, we have this as a 2, but it may be too late. It may be ready for 3 of 3. If it's 3 of 3, then this thing's got a lot more upside, and it's in the first innings. So no one is late to the party here. Okay, you probably are looking at somewhere around, based on the Fibonacci extensions, the personalities we've seen in copper before, and on these pumps, we probably are going to be at $20 copper, $25 copper. Okay, so it will take time to get there at some point, but it will go into the 3 of 3 phase, the mania phase, like all commodities do. So I do look like it wants to pull back in this 2 wave, right? And we should be making one more high. But if we take out divergence, on especially on the 4 hour, the 45, we're seeing acceleration, but we are in the 3 of 5 here. But if we take out divergence on the 4 hour, then there's no 2. It's gone. And the next leg a lot higher has started. And that's just the way it is. So it's very bullish. I would not be trying to time the market on this. I would not be hoping for a big crash. They tried to crash it here, and it just went back up as parabolic. There's too much demand. Too much demand. Real demand. So then the next set of questions here, guys, is Oxy, some oil. Oxy, we're still looking for some kind of connector wave that would do something like this. Okay, something like this right now. Because of this lower low, it's hard for me to call the bottom. I want to call that the low. If we break this low, it will take a whole nother leg lower and the chart would be broken because you would have 3 waves down, some kind of connector. You would come down. You would be back to retesting these lows. So it's going to have to hold this low. So again, getting so cute with an entry. I want to buy it here, buy it. No, you just, as a long-term investor, you just buy it and you tuck it away and go trade something else, because there's so much more upside to come if this low can hold. And so far it has. Now, what I don't like about this chart is what happened here. But it should resolve itself. I'm hoping it resolves quickly, either in the next couple weeks, or maybe a little further out. But I don't like that. That's the only thing that worries me. If that didn't happen, because it doesn't look like a complete correction off of one. COP, same thing. It's got years of gains ahead of it. It's, again, I'm not going to label this part here, but basically you can see it's a 1-2, 1-2, and you have made 5 off the low, you have 1-2, and you made another 5, and now you're pulling back here in this 2. So this could be a small connector. Perhaps you get another chance to buy it coming up. And that would be right around $91 and $89, and that may be your last chance to buy it if you haven't bought it already. That's kind of the setup. Now, could it be a corrective move, because it's only 3 waves? Like I said, we checked the RSI. Here, as you can see, we have divergence. We don't have a peak, so that's not corrective. On the weekly, it's slightly corrective, but we have divergence here, so it's not as strong as you would have expected for a corrective wave. So I don't think it's corrective. I think this is an impulsive setup to break out. Okay, I don't think it... Now, by Elliott wave theory, it's 3 waves. It could be corrective, but by using RSI to help us, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. If we did break this low and this was corrective, we would double correct, and then we would come back down to these lows, down in this area. So this is an important level. That's why I have it drawn like I do there. FCX is breaking out. Again, we had buys. All my members, 1, 2, 3, 4 buys, and we're out. You'll probably be able to double your money from those buys pretty soon. It looks like 5's extending, and this could easily be another 1, 2, and it could just go. This is why back in here I was telling everyone, don't time the market, play the long game, just accumulate. And then yes, people made fun of me by buying it here and all the, oh, you're so dumb for buying it, haha, you lost money. That's what someone told me. But they're short-sighted. They're looking at it from what am I going to do tomorrow? We look at the big picture, right? If you would have accumulated these boxes, you're probably going to be able to double your money in less than 5 or 6 months in a nice dividend paying safe company that is not going out of existence, right? So that's the type of trading we do on our channel, guys. Okay, that's the type of trading we do. Long game. We're playing the long. And now if you have a position here, you can just sleep easy at night, because when you do get these violent pullbacks, you have nothing to worry about. You're not in the mix here. But everyone that's going to join the trend late is going to be in the mix. So we do expect this, at this point to end 5 waves and pull back, right? It's probably going to pull back to somewhere around 50 or 48. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think we'll see these prices again. The only way this can crash is like it needs to happen like tomorrow. We need this 3rd wave, and it needs to be a flat off of this peak, a flat, an A, B, C, and that would be a super crash. That would be like we're in a recession. We're in a great recession wherein the economy has like collapsed. Copper deflationary collapse, right? So not likely. It's just not likely given what we know about the market right now. So just grinding higher, and it's about to go into a 3 of 5, and like I said, it can erase divergence, and then that will be that, and then it's go time. All right, that's why I kept saying what we should be doing here. Why we were buying this down here for this moment that we're living through right now. Okay, the next is a question. Let's take a look here at PDYN. PDYN. All right. Some kind of AI company. it's a good move off the low from a go to zero. Let's look at the weekly time frame. It's got some divergence, so that's probably a 3, 4, 5. So it's probably impulse off the lows, right? And now you made a 3-wave move down. So you'd be looking for a box to buy this. You truncate it, and you already made the big candle, so it's done. It's probably finished. Yeah, it's finished. So it truncated early, so this cycle's done. So it's probably ready to take its next leg higher and continue. Right? So more than likely that's the low. And where are we in that candle? Probably wave 3. Right? A 3, a 4, you know, so we'll finish up an impulse and hopefully keep going. SPAI is a drone AI stock. Is that Safe Pro Group? Okay, yeah, so that's the right one, SPAI. So here looks like some kind of 5 waves maybe. Let's look at this. Yeah, 5 waves. Although no, that's 3 waves down. So it's moving. It looks like it's moving in 3 waves and not 5. But let me look one more time. Yeah, we broke that low. That's in 3. So this is a tricky chart because there's not a lot of data. But my guess is it's something like this. And looking at this, the way we top, that's probably A of Y. Although 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go to the 4-hour and look at this. Yeah, it's an ABC here. So it's another W. And then that's a flat. And then it'll come out. But let me just make sure that isn't Y here. So when we pulled back, we didn't break that low. We didn't break the low. So yeah, so this is the count. So again, as long as we're above 323, expect more upside to finish this cycle. So something like this. It looks like it's in a 3 right now. That'll need a 4 soon. Right? But remember, since it's moving in 3-wave moves, it could also just come off of this as a W and just kind of work its way up in 3 waves. All right, next question is Indo and Cleveland Cliffs. So I'll look at the monthly as well. So Indo is continuing to come out of this area, this wedge, and of course the elite members, we've been watching it. And now you need the 5th wave. If you get the 5th wave, that's likely a major low. And then, of course, it would pull back and then it would launch. That's the idea. Now, we could still just launch from here. It doesn't need to do it. It could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. The only problem with this chart, though, is it also could be corrective. And then we could come back and break the low. So we need the 5th wave. So on the monthly time frame, obviously, it's curling higher. It's bullish. It looks like it's trying to start the next cycle higher. And that's the breakout wave we all hope we are getting, right? It looks like it's breaking out on all these time frames here, and it looks like you've ended the monthly cycles bullish. It's bullish. So I don't know why anyone would want to short this, but there's someone that will probably want to do that, and I don't think that's a good idea. It looks like the monthly cycle is taken over. That's what it looks like to me. So this is a conservative view. If it's 1, 2, 1, 2, it's just gonna launch like a rocket ship. Okay, and you may have missed the move because you're trying to get too cute with your entries. This is why we have to just buy it and be patient. So here's the box we gave. We saw the breakout idea, and now we just got to stay long. Cleveland Cliffs also is another one that's got a massive opportunity. We've had buys all in these boxes. They've all played out. The flat may have been finished here, and it could be ready for its big breakout. This would break the major downtrend it's been in since 2022, but more importantly, it goes all the way back to almost here. If I draw this just right, I think I have to draw this just right there. It can go all the way back to 2008. So it should generate a huge breakout when it happens. Okay, a huge breakout. But the problem we have, there is a problem. You only have 3 waves up in this wave 1. So it's coming out as like a leading diagonal. Or it's corrective. This is wrong. So I think we'll come out of this. I think it's inevitable. On the higher time frame, here on the monthly view, we can try to look at it. So there's the big downtrend since 2022. And we keep an eye on it. And we just broke the monthly. We just broke out. So the monthly cycle looks like it's breaking out. Although it's pretty overbought a little bit. And it could use a breather. So that's the lead in diagonal coming into play. So it may be like, let me draw this like the way it may look visually. It may look something like this. Let me draw this the right way here. So so it'd be more like A, B, C, a 3, a 4, and then a 5. And then it comes all the way back down. Something like that. And then it comes out, the big move. So you may have to deal with this. You may have to deal with something like this. Because that's the lead in diagonal. That's what typically it does. And that would allow the monthly to kind of cool down a little. Grab is the next stock that we wanted to look at. Does it provide clues? So does those two provide clues about the commodity boom? Yes, of course it does. Cleveland Cliffs is steel. It's cyclicals. It's the same trade that you saw back in the 2004 to 2008 7 time period. Commodities did okay. Oil went to triple digits back then. And Indo, as you know, totally is tied to commodities and oil. I think with Indo, the fear is that's worrisome for the world economy because is that oil about to go skyrocket higher? Or war. Indo also responded to war in Iran. We noticed when the war in Iran heated up, man, Indo got hot, regardless of the price of crude. So for some reason, maybe fundamentally, they're like, tied in a pause. They get fake grab real quick. I'm not sure what happened to the data here. Looks like TradingView's bogged down. Again, I can't watch the news. Okay, there we go. So I don't know if new panic is hitting the futures market or not. Slowing TradingView down. So grab looks something like this. And we're looking for a box to be hit. So it should make another wave higher. But as you know, we are well off the highs. So this can easily just correct and just go to 0. So there's no guarantee. We don't have an impulsive view. No impulse here. So I would be really careful getting too bulled up about this one. But it should go higher into this box. If it can make a 4 and a 5, then you're good to go. Then that's a good low. But we don't have that clarity yet in the stock. So we have to be really careful with this one. Okay, with grab. Okay, we have to be really careful with it. And it's interesting. I'm not seeing the person who asked for grab. I'm not seeing their comment anymore. I don't know if they deleted it. Oh, there it is. Short and long-term outlook. It's weird. It didn't show up anymore. But I knew you asked it. So short and long-term outlook. Short-term higher into the box. Long-term it's too difficult because we'll pull back and we'll either get a 5th wave and then it will correct again. And then it will come out in a massive move higher. But if we don't get this 5 here, it will just melt down. So to me, it's not really tradable. That's why I don't really talk about it too much to our members. It's other things to trade that are clearer. All right, Cypher. Let's look at this Cypher. Will it retest 20 cents in the future? I don't know. Let's see. It does not look good for that. It looks like we're building out of this low here. So I don't think so. I think it's gone. It's starting its next leg higher. Now, if we break this low, this would be a shallow connector for a 3-wave move. And then you're talking. Then it could get to that 20 cent level. And it would come back down to maybe, I don't think that, it'd probably be more like 35 cents. not 20 cents. So as of now, there's no reason to think it will do that until it breaks 88 cents. So for now, I would expect more upside. Now, if it breaks 88 cents, the next level is, for me, 35 cents. I don't think it gets to 20. That would be a little too bearish. Typically, it will, a chart like this finds support right around here. And I'll draw this line right around here. And this, so it may very well make another leg lower. So we probably should leave this unlabeled because it bounced. See how we erased divergence with that little dip, but it's incomplete. So we need to be, I think you got to keep an open mind. I think it's 50-50 if it comes down here or not. I don't know if it can get to 20 cents though. Okay, the next question is SLS. And SLS was a live stream home run, and we nailed that box. I mean, once in a while we get that vertical action. You know, sometimes it happens, and this one it did. So I'm really happy for you for getting that. So now the question is, what wave are we in now? Obviously, it's got to be some kind of 3 here. So we'll take a look at it real quick. Your question is the move up 1 of C, is this move too short in time to be compared to a diagonal? So it's 3 waves, so it's an A, B, C. Is it 1 of C? So that, I see what you're trying to go with it. I think the better way to think about it is let's get rid of it, is we know this is 3. So you have an A, B, C. We know this is subdivides into 5. Now the question is, are you going to get a 4 and a 5 in impulse, right? And have momentum divergence and then correct and then launch a second time? Or are you not going to get any of those things and you're just going to collapse and this was a corrective bounce and it goes to 0? So that's the question we don't know the answer to, right? And that's what we need to study. And the way I would label it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would label it this way, but this 4 is getting a little too deep. Okay, so we're gonna have to use the RSI to help us see if where we are on this. So as you can see, for it to be a corrective move, we've got a lot more to fall. So it's not corrective. It doesn't look corrective. So it looks like to me you have 2 possibilities, a 1, 2, 1, 2, or this 4. So now we can look at it from a 4 standpoint. Looks like a triangle connector, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks done in 3. So it looks like it's a WXY connector. It's a WXY connector. So that 4 is in. So I suspect it's going to run and take, so as long as you're above 324, I suspect it's going to come back up and take out that peak. And we'll have to assume it's a 5. I wouldn't assume it's like a 1 of C or anything like that. I would just assume you're starting a whole new bull market. This company reinvented itself, and now it's time for a bull market to be born. That's what this is telling you. And then when this 5 is in, it will correct, and it will be nasty and horrible, because anyone who chases here is going to get blown up. But that would be viable for another leg higher. So that's kind of the forecast on this right now. If we break this low, it does change it a little bit, but then all of a sudden you're looking at more like a 1, 2, 1, 2. And it would have to go pretty deep and pretty intense to break the trend line on the RSI to call this an ABC. So I think that's how I label this. I'm not sure what you mean by too short in time compared to the diagonal. Oh, yeah. Well, the wave 3s tend to be more intense. They tend to do this. And you can't really compare the time too much. Now, some people compare the wave 1 to the wave 5 in terms of time. They like to keep those kind of similar. But I don't use time at all in the waves because it can be very, very different. And the rules are different. And people that do that, they're like, well, because we trade calls and puts, so we need time. Well, my system, we don't use calls and puts. I never talk about those on my channel. I know it frustrates some traders, but it's not what I use. And the reason I do that is once you take time out of the equation and it's no longer a variable, you have a huge edge, a huge advantage, because the market is bullish 80% of the time. So a lot of times you just can wait, you know, and you don't have to guess exactly when. So calls is really tricky, puts is really tricky, and I'm sure there's people out there that have systems that work for that, right? That know how to like time it just right, and more power to them, you know. But that's our system. You know, we have to trade without time because it's just it doesn't work. Our system needs patience, and we wait. Like FCX is a great example, right? We had to wait, and then it broke out. You know, if you were having calls, you had to time that just right, that breakout. That would have been really hard to do. All right, the next one is this LAES. What is this one here? Let me read your question. LAES. Okay, so we wanted to see another leg higher. Let's take a look at this chart. Let me reorient myself to this chart here. Not sure. I have to remind myself of where we are with it. ABC. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Double correct it here on that X. So we double correct it here. And I'll just get rid of that. And now, what is that? I worry that's a triangle, and if it is, that's a continuation pattern lower. So we got to be careful. Now we know it may not take this high out. We have 3 waves, right? I think we need to be careful with this now, with being too permeable on this. Let me see here. To take that out. So if we go to the monthly cycle, it's turning down. So yeah, we need to be really careful. I'm going to have to update my view on it. So we just have to go with the new data that we see, not what we wish it to be. So it looks like to me it's going to take another leg lower. This looks like a triangle connector. That will take it lower. I don't know why these, let me get rid of these lines. I don't know why they're there. So something like that. That's what it looks like is happening. So once we lost that pivot here, that's when the whole setup was really lost, losing that low. It could have extended, it didn't. So once we lost that low, now it's going to take this second. It's going to double correct off of this move, and it looks like it's about to make that move down. NKLR. Another go to 0. We can try to label it from this low, only showing 3 and then 3 and 3. Did not take the peak out. So it's just kind of wandering around in a corrective move. And again, it could be its own little triangle here that's developing. Let me draw that again. So we would have W, X, Y, and then this would turn into something like that. So it would turn into that type of move, A, B, C, D, E. That's almost what we're seeing. Now, if we can take out 638, that negates that view, and we would go higher. Okay. Now, there's no reason to think, because it's only in 3 waves, it would just take another 3-wave move higher. So maybe we'll go to 727. But it's really in the middle area. I don't recommend ever trading these kind of instruments. This is probably one of the most unpredictable charts we have, because it's so many 3 waves. So this is highly likely, looking at where that wick is, looking at the RSI. Then when this is done, it could go all the way back to 0. It could make a 4 and a 5. It could even double correct and make a bigger 3-wave move. Too many possibilities, but it does look like it wants one more push higher in Y to like this $7 area, $7.55 area. All right, the next question was Amazon. Amazon, is trying to take out the invalidation level for the flat at 258.51. It's going to try to do that this week. Right now, we're still going with a more bearish count on it until that invalidation level is reached. Now, ultimately, on the grand super cycle, we expect more upside. We expect it to be higher. This is just a temporary setback for it. This drop that I have here, if it happens. If it doesn't happen and we cross the invalidation line, it's going to go into a 3 of 3, and that's going to help the world markets extend their cycles higher. If we did that and broke out, right, the count would obviously be a 2 here, and then this would be like a 1, 2 flat, a run-in flat here, a 1, and that would be a 2, and an A, and an A, B, C flat, and then it would be through, a breakout into our box. And then the grand super cycle on Amazon will peak, and it will have a spectacular crash. Now, right now, though, we are expecting a flat still because of the 5-wave move down and the 3-wave move up here. That's the reason. The shape of these waves is why. But there is, like I said, a count I could force if I wanted to. I could put 1 here, and then I could put 2 here and make this a run-in flat. It would be a real, it would be a real like wonky structure, but it's still okay to label it that way. So I'm just labeling it in the more classic. This is a more conventional way of labeling it based on those the wave, the shape of those waves earlier. So we're looking for something like this now. All right. Next question is on crypto. BCHG and LTCN, can it still go to the moon? I do believe they will, but you're going to have to wait. I know everyone's like, I want it to happen now, but it's going to have to wait a little bit longer. So BCHG is tricky, right? We did have a box here, but it was kind of a lot of lower lows, 3 waves, and this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like some kind of flat here, and then we're making some kind of 3-wave move up. I wouldn't be surprised to see it do a flat and a flat. The devil structure, where you have a flat and then you have another flat here. I wouldn't be surprised to see that play out. And then the new box would be at 314 and something like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But again, we have seen crypto move outside of Bitcoin. I don't see the narrative yet of why this would do that. But this is kind of the chart I'm looking for. And then it's go time. Right, and yes, it go out higher if this account plays out. And LTCN is in the same predicament, but it's a little more bearish at the moment. We have a 3 and 3, so that connector could be done. And then we would drop to 379 and then start to build out of the box. Now, a lot of people want it to go, oh, it just goes straight up. Well, it may not. Remember, it may take a couple years to build a series of 1s and 2s, 1s and 2s, 1s and 2s, and then in 2028 it hits the 3 of 3. So just understand that it may have to go through a period of accumulation and find a floor. So if you're thinking that it's just going to hit this box and go to 64, you have to think a different thing. You have to not think about it that way. It's likely to consolidate, but this will be the area of the floor we'd like it to see it hit. And then in the next crypto cycle, because there's always a next crypto cycle, then you see these this price hit, right? This price. But you're going to have to wait. That's my guess. You're going to have to wait. But no one likes to wait, right? No one likes to wait. But you have to. I think if you wait, you'll be okay. MOBX. Looks like it's got another leg lower. Almost finished this whole move down. And not sure if this is one of these go to zeros. Yeah, go to zero. So we're almost done. But, I could always be off by a swing. But once it's finished, yes, a big pump. When is it going to finish? I can't tell you. But it looks like you need a 3. So you need like a capitulation move down and then a bottom. And then that's it. I'm out of the counts over. AGNC is a different chart, I believe. It's more bullish. Now, when I labeled this, it looks like to me we're coming out of a 3-wave move, and then a 3-wave move, and an A, B, and a flat here. So it looks like it's coming out. So I don't know what these guys do, but it looks like you're in a 1-2, 1-2. It wants to come out. Maybe you get another 1-2 here. So as long as you're above 691, I would expect more upside. NLY, same count, same situation, almost the same looking chart. And you would come up in like 5 waves. You would, 3 waves, and it would just kind of continue to grind higher. It looks like this correction's over. So that looks like it's going higher. As long as we stay above 1493, this should continue like I have it. And, but again, it's never a straight line. So something like this is what I'm thinking. Okay. Those are those two. Let me see if there were any questions around those. I don't think there were. Let me just check it out real quick. Looking for enter long-term monthly play. So long-term, if I was looking for long-term monthly dividend plays, I would just buy them here. I mean, again, how picky are you going to be about an entry when you're looking at a chart like this? I mean, you just buy them here as an investor, right? I mean, and again, I don't know what these companies do. I can't endorse them. I'm not telling you to buy them, but the entries are here, right? This is the entry. You also, it looks like you have a confirmation of the end of the cycle on top of it. So the only way this blows up is if it comes back and takes these lows out. Then I would probably, dump it. All right, the next question is silver and GDX. Which one's better for the long-term opportunity? Like I said, I can't tell you how to invest your money. It's not financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Keep in mind, SLV, silver, if you're buying paper silver, there's no guarantee the paper silver will keep up with the precious metal price. I graphed the silver ETF for you. It's definitely a whole different chart than the metal chart. It does show more upside in a series of 4s and 5s. The GDX also shows more upside as it's extending, updating it currently, and it's right now in a 5 that's extended, and then it will go into a series of 4s and 5s, right? So these two are gonna do well. I'll give you my take on what's gonna do better. I think the commodity itself will do better. So physical silver, then maybe paper silver, then the GDX, because if we're going into an inflationary environment, the miners do not do well in that because their profit margins are squeezed due to higher energy and input costs themselves. Even though they get more money through the metal, the rocket fuel for the miners is high metal prices or metal prices going up and deflation, energy and crude oil dropping, energy going down. And we just don't see that in the future. We may see it on the short term, right? The short term still, but in the long run, 10 years, 15 years down, it looks like oil is going to be going a lot higher. So that's going to hurt the miners. This is my fundamental take on it. So I think I'd rather be in the metal itself. So what I would do is own some hard silver, go to the store and find some silver to buy, get a Santa Claus bag of silver and then go lock it up somewhere, and then go buy some paper silver that you can kind of trade. But just know the paper silver market is likely to dislocate from the real market as this continues to go parabolic. So the silver market isn't with the paper market does have some risks, and also they can delete the buy button on you, right? And they can stop but they can't with the physical metal. The physical metal is what you want to own. So go out, you're going to have to go buy some bars or something, some coins or whatever you want to do. I mean, that's what I would recommend. All right, the next question is NEO. Here, let's take a look at NEO. So I think I got through my initial list, so now let's go to the new ones that popped up here. NEO. Let me find the person who put NEO in here. Let's take a look. There it is. Okay. So we've got NEO from Raj. All right, NEO. NEO is got to hold this low down here at 302. So we have a 3-wave move. We have our connector, and now we just need to kind of finish this cycle. We should see a bounce and a failure like we saw here. So you're looking for a bounce and another low. But if we just break the low, break this level, it's a problem. Now, I think on my last update, I talked about this. I have a deep dive on NIO. And I said if we break this low, what could happen? There's a possibility that this turns into a fifth wave off of the grand supercycle the decline, right? So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have this ABC, right? But maybe, just maybe, it's a different count, right? Maybe it's a different count. And there's a possibility that it turns into something different, and this C leg is going to continue lower, right? And it's if I remember right, ABC. I go ABC, 1, 2, ABC. Let me see here if I do this right. I'm trying to remember my deep dive video. I think you need to watch my deep dive video, but basically I think what I said was it's either goes, so you break this low, it either goes to zero, it goes bankrupt, which we don't think it's going to happen. So it has to become some kind of fifth wave. It's got to extend the C leg. This has to be a connector of some kind. So you're only left with a few other counts that work. And so I think you would call this some kind of 4 here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you make this 5, and you make this 5, and then it just melts down and capitulates. So the best thing to do with NIO is watch energy, which would be crude oil, and the solar sector, which is kind of the green. You're like, well, it's not solar, but solar is kind of part of the basket of green stocks that this trades with typically and correlates with. So we see solar needs to go lower. Crude oil eventually will go lower. So this is likely to go lower, right? It's not likely to go higher. The only way I think this could bottom and find a major low is if crude oil moons. But crude oil is still forecasted to find sellers and have a massive drop that I have shown here. And if it does that, NIO will go down. It will have to go down. Okay, that's what will happen. If crude oil does not sell off and we do break out, if we break out of the larger cycle here, then NIO is going to likely extend and everything's going to do well. Solar, all those things will do well. But that's still not the primary view as of now. All right, this is what I'm thinking. All right, let's go back to our requested stocks here. So that was NIO. PDD, so PDD has a lower low here. It's likely to make another swing down. We know BABA and Baidu need another swing lower. KWeb, another swing lower. So it's only logical this would go down as well. So we have a box here at $73. We also broke the low here, right here. So in fact, that was a shortable area. That was shortable here. So it looks like it would go lower. Okay, just like I have it. On the grand super cycle, though, it should be okay after this is done. EWZ had a nice reaction out of this box shown to elite members for those who took it, but we should top in 1 and have a bigger pullback against this cycle. Now, bigger picture, this shows the bullishness of energy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then you're going to get probably a wave that looks like that. So that's the future of energy, guys. That's not now. That's like 3 or 4 years from now, but it's going to come, and you need to start to be prepared for that in your investment portfolio. My is the way I would look at it, and that's the setup in Brazil. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we start to go higher. Okay, that's the count as of now. All right, and then you finish this. You'll finish a 5 and then big pullback. BioNTech looked at this again. We have 5 waves down. So this is a zigzag. We have A, and now we need B. So we're likely to come higher, 141, 156, and then we're likely to see another leg lower. Right, because it's the stock cannot bottom in 5 unless it's a flat, and you cannot get a flat off of a run like that. So this is a B, C, a zigzag. Now, can B go higher? It's always possible. But I do think it's not, I don't think it's ready for, I don't think this is B. So I think B will continue at least into this area, and then another leg lower, and then that should end the correction. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking right now with BioNTech. All right, guys. Let's take a look here at SLS. We just covered SLS, and if you missed it, we are expecting a fifth wave as of now, with a tight window on that. We have to hold 319, and if we can get that fifth wave at $6, that's good. And hey, if it goes into a 1-2-1-2, even better. Now, if we break that level, then we have either a 1-2-1-2 or it's corrective. But we saw that it's so far away from the monthly trend line, it would have to go much deeper to do that. So we wouldn't really know if it's corrective. So I would just trade it against this 319 on the long side. All right, guys. Dollar dumping. It might be, yeah. It needs to pull back a little. That's probably helping the metals tonight. BNTX, thinking about taking the loss. So, I can't give you the advice. Taking a loss, it's tough to say, because when you look at this chart, right, we're correct in the grand super cycle. We always say sometimes you never come back to the peak on the grand super cycle. Sometimes they go to zero. All I know is, you got 5 down, 3 up. Sellers are likely going to hit this box, right? So you'll have to decide how you want to trade it. But, I mean, it doesn't... The only way this could be saved is if you pull back and make another high, make 5 waves out of this. So I don't want you to lose hope, but you'll have to just do what's best for you with the information I gave you. But I think, this is the most likely path, but perhaps there's another path. So you'll have to just decide. It's tough for me to tell you what to do with it, and how you want to do it. IRM, Iron Mountain. Yeah, we were tracking this a long time ago. Let's take a look at where we are with it. See, that pullback's too deep to be a 4. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Definitely a 3. So that's a 3 of 3. So maybe it is a 4. Let's take a look at the monthly RSI. Yeah, I think we have to think about it as a 4 wave. We have to think about it as a 4 wave. So now what is that? What is that? It looks like you have a higher high and a flat. So it looks like this is about to hit a wave 3 of 5. So yeah, maybe you could go long against 77.65 and play this 5th wave. Something like that. That looks like a flat. Interesting chart. Yeah, I kind of like that. We'll keep an eye on that one, because you can define your risk really easily on this chart. So if you would say we took a dip, let's say I wake up and we're at 81 or something like that, why not give it a try with a stop at 77 and see if you can get this push out of here? Okay. So that looks like a good chart. This looks good. FCC. I'm not sure which world index. I assume. Can you put in the chat, Jared, which index you want FCC from? Okay, FCX I did earlier, so you'll be able to get that. Watch that. XRP. We'll look at XRP real quick, and I'll come back to that FCC one. XRP. All right, just like I expected. So as long as we're below 243, you would expect more downside. into, you know, again, where could it go? We could try to get maybe we can get a box out of this looking at the chart. Yeah, we could get a box here. 156 with a stop at that flash crash wick. So right in this area. So this is what I'd be looking for. Now it's gotta come down in 3 waves, right? So it's gonna need to do something like this. Now if it could come back and take this peak out, then you have to call the 2 in. Okay, so that's what's at stake. Now, I guess you would call the 2 in. Could it be a flat off of 1 and just like pump and crash? I don't know. Maybe we'd have to come back and look at it. But I think I would be inclined to put the 2 in if it came back up and took this out, because then you're looking at a bigger breakout, I think. Okay, and the next one is WLFI. Let me see if I have that somewhere. Yeah, I thought I've had that one mapped out somewhere. Let me just kind of look around and see if I can find it. There, no, that's not it. WLFI. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I guess I don't have, I guess we're going to have to do that one. All right. I thought I would have had it. So we'll just pick, let's pick this one. Oh, good. We have, it looks like I picked the right one. All right. So I think we looked at this before. And we were talking about, you know, it was in the middle area. So let's see if we can continue to label our chart. So it looks like you had a bigger 3 waves, so we'll put X there. Looks like you came back up in Y here. Or maybe we need to, again, use the RSI to help guide our labeling. Nope, we have it labeled right. So that's labeled right there. So then you have Y there. And then you have another connector, so another W, another X, and another Y. We took the high out. We made 5 waves up, so that's a B. So something like that is what I'm thinking. So we're in this B wave. So there you could buy the dip. I'll give you a box on this that's buyable. If it dips at around 14.43 cents. So that would be buyable. It may already be finished, but if it were to take a dip down into that box, that's where you would buy it for this C leg and Y leg. So something like that. Okay. Yeah, so the way, again, the answer WXY, this is a great example of that. Okay, so WXY, if we go to D, the daily here, you see how how it peaked like that? Okay, that's typically a 3rd wave. That's a 3rd wave. 3rd waves end like this, okay? That's typically how the 3rd waves end, okay? Here, you see how it didn't do that? It had that little blip there. That's typically not a 3-wave move. That's a 5-wave move, and we saw that when we lowered the resolution to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So that's kind of why we use 3 waves and not 5 waves. It's very important, because if you don't do that right, you won't navigate a correction correctly. You'll just some, like I said, ABC. This would make sense for an ABC because it looks like it's 5 waves up. So that would be A, B, C, and it subdivides Y into 3. But all Y means is it needs 3. The subdivision in Y is 3 waves. It can't be 5. but a subdivision in A is 5. So you have 5, 3, 5, and that's Y or X, right? So it's basically connecting two zigzags. So think of a WXY as it connects two zigzag corrections together, and the X wave is the glue. So you have essentially a zigzag and an ABC zigzag, or in this case another WXY, which can also be included. Now, some Elliott wave purists do not allow this, like a WXY within a W, like I have. But when you read the rules, it says W only needs to be subdivided into 3 waves. It doesn't say it needs to be an ABC. So as long as it's 3. So this is a modern like variation on it, and other people I follow use it that have a massive amount of staff and analysts, way more than I do, and have back tested it. So I've adopted it too. So that's the reason for it, and it makes sense because the market behaves this way. So someone could say that a W always has to have an ABC, but it can also have this WXY as long as it's a 3-wave subdivided move. That's all that you need in W. So you can subdivide it 3 with an ABC or WXY. So it's tricky, but that's what we do here. All right, let's keep going. I've got another bunch of super chats here. AAOI. All right, let's look at this one. Looks like it's going higher as expected. We can see here you have a 1-2. Looks like a 1-2-1-2, but we have a lower RSI, so it's probably turning into a flat off of this peak. So I would be looking for a flat here. Or actually, let me take that back. Let me look one more time. Yeah, I went too fast. It's probably here. 1, 2, right? So something like that. And it comes out. Right, it should bottom right around here. Right where it is now. And then it breaks out. Right? And then it breaks out. Looking at this, it's only 3 up, 3 down. So again, we'll complete the label W, X, Y. And why don't we do this here for that wave and just call it ABC. Like that. So something like that. Okay, next is ANF. ANF was another one that tested your conviction. We had this box for elite members a long time. Thought it would break the low. It didn't. And it nice 5-wave move. It should be pulling back in 2. And shouldn't be making new all-time highs pretty soon. That's what we expect. So, but we should be correcting this wave. And this is probably the last chance you have to buy it. That's probably your last chance. And if you didn't buy it here, you just didn't lack the conviction. It's kind of learning as a trader, right? Sometimes you have to have a lot of patience, and this is one that tested your patience for sure. But now you may have one more chance in this too to buy it. To me, it looks pretty straightforward, and we look at this all the time in our elite members. We watch this one. Huntsman. I think we've looked at this before too, and we're looking for a breakout. I think we may have looked at this tonight. Yeah, Huntsman's ready for a breakout. So as long as you can hold this low at 729, it should be breaking out. Newegg, downside target has not been hit. It keeps going down, and that's what we've expected it to do. And our target is 38.90, and we gotta wait. You guys gotta wait. Now, if Newegg breaks 30.06, the whole bullish setup's lost, and it's going to do one of its fractals like you've seen before. You see these fractal, well, just going to be another fractal where it goes and breaks the lows, and so to keep the bullish structure, we need to hold this box. We've got to hold this box. So that's the count. That's the count. Okay. So not too bad. So next question's around UVIX. Let's see here. Yep, I'm doing good. I had an idea since UVIX is 2 times leverage VIX futures Should we not analyze the graph and technicals of the VIX futures? Yeah, I mean, it's possible we could do that. I don't really trade the VIX that much. Like, I'm not a VIX trader, but what I do with the VIX is I like to buy the first pullback against the low, okay? And you know, I don't have this charted, this VIX futures here. I mean, I don't know how different it would be compared to, you know, compared to the VIX. Let me see. I mean, they look very similar, but my thinking, the way I'll always say, guys, with the UVIX, it's pretty simple. By the first breakout of the when you get a big breakout, like we almost had one here, right? You buy the first pullback, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But when you get a breakout, you buy the first pullback. That's what I usually do with UVIX, and then you just keep kind of fighting it, and eventually the money comes, because when you do get it, when you do finally land that first breakout, right, the first pullback, it's usually make a ton of money. So it makes up for any little losses you may have made along the way doing it. So it's an easy trading strategy that I've used on UVIX for forever, and used to be TVIX. I think there was TVIX back in the day. So like, it's never like, I never would ever try to just bottom fish it, but I would wait. Like, let's say tomorrow we have a big sell-off. They're mad at Powell. No one has puts. They all got caught with their pants down with whatever. And let's say UVIX does that tomorrow. The minute they try to fade it and smash it, I'll be a buyer. Okay? That's how I would trade it. Yes, you won't get the exact low, but that's the only way. That's how I trade this thing. Now, the VIX futures, I'd have to look at this more closely and study it more. I can't really answer it. I think, you know, looking at this, it looks like you have 5 waves up. And did we break that low? We did not. So it could be on the VIX futures, a 1-2, 1-2. That would set you up for an explosive move higher tomorrow. And what are we seeing? We're seeing selling tonight. I wonder if this predicted that. Right there. That would be a 1-2, 1-2. And that would take you well past 42. Right? We'd likely, again, if I'm just looking at this, we probably would tag 55 or so. I think that's where I have it anyway. So that's an interesting setup, and look what's happening tonight. So this, you know, so maybe we're on to something, you know. So, like I said, I don't pay too much close attention to charting the VIX. I do, but I do look when we see the breakout. PayPal. Let's look at PayPal real quick. I think that one was a tricky chart, but I thought we were expecting it to go lower. And that's what it looks like it's happening. Okay, so we're about to break this massive neckline. So that's going to create waterfall selling. Okay, be advised. Again, this is like abandoned ship, right? Abandoned ship. You don't have to go down with the ship, right? You don't need to sink down. I mean, this is abandoned ship. This is the chart we've had, and it's about to have its 3-of-3 move to the downside. Okay, all the investors that jammed up in here, they're going to be trapped. Will it be a buy again? Yes, but not right now. Okay, so this is our chart. So it's about to collapse. The price is about to collapse. I think the only way to anticipate where it could go is look at chart support, and you really don't have any until maybe around $41, $40. So let's bet that's where it's probably going to go. So somewhere like that. Probably somewhere down there. So PayPal's pretty straightforward to me. Right? It's pretty. I think it kind of trades with Bitcoin now, kind of the crypto block, right? So let me read through some of the comments. Just kind of look at this. I'll do another quick look at Bitcoin since people are asking about it. But I don't, there was one guy I wasn't able to do his, if he's still on, let me see here. Let me go back to your super chat real quick. You asked me about one that didn't come up, FCC. So if someone is out there that wants FCC done, you need to let me know which exchange you want it off of. Okay, so Bitcoin real quick. This chart is what you need to know with Bitcoin. Okay, the monthly cycle, right, is in a downtrend right now. Okay, monthly cycle's in a downtrend. No matter how I draw it, whether I draw it like that, or I draw it from this peak, it's in a downtrend. So until we break that downtrend, it's in a bear market. And the reason, and you can see we lost the uptrend right here. So it's in a bear market. So but it's in that multi-year bear market that we see, like it's in one of those. So it's going to take time to work itself out. The daily cycle is being saved right now. Right? Look at that. See that? It's being saved. But once that daily cycle breaks, then Bitcoin, the big sell-off in Bitcoin may start. Or the next leg lower at least. So they're trying to save the daily cycles. They're trying to save the daily cycle, and it's just kind of caught up in this connector. What does it have to do? It has to come back and take this peak out. Okay, why is it pumping? I don't know. Trying to shake leverage out of the system before marks it down. Maybe the dollar index being weaker. Who knows, right? Just want to take a look. Metals still, moving higher. And copper, just kind of looking through things, just seeing if anything catches my eye. Dollar index. It kind of depends how you want to draw this. Because you had this little pump right there. I mean, put 5 there. Put 3 there maybe. We'd want to see it bid here. So if it keeps going lower, we'd have a 3-wave move again in the dollar index. Okay. All right. And that's all I've got tonight, guys. Let me see if there's any other comments. CLFD. Did I look at CLFD? Let me see here. Clearfield. I don't think I looked at that. I'm not sure. I mean, if you look at it, as long as you're above that peak, it looks like 5 up, 3 down, another 5 up, 3 down. So it could be a 1-2, 1-2. Or it could be, so two possible ways to label that. Could be that, and then it takes another leg lower. Or it could be this. Something like that. So very tough. Now we could try to look at the RSI to see if it gives us a clue. Let's see, it's trying to save it right there with a little starting to try to do an elbow up. It's strange because it's trying to save it. So no help there. So we have no help. But look at the weekly here. Just broke out. So I would favor bullish. I would have a bullish interpretation of this chart right now. For more upside. It looks like you erased divergence, so this looks like some kind of corrective move. So I would label it this way. Wow, that would be something if that works out. I hope it works out for you if this works out. So yeah, I mean, you would put your stop at 24. What do these guys do? It's kind of fiber, infrastructure stuff. All right, yeah, it looks like server infrastructure. I mean, a 1-2, 1-2. I mean, look at when this thing pumps. Man, does it pump. But see, the problem I have is it pumped in 22. I'm trying to see. Sometimes we can get clues from the fractals that see what the personality of it looks like, how it pumps, how it breaks out. Yeah, I think we'll leave it like this. So it seems like the personality of it kind of pumps and then it has a big crash and then it just goes vertical. So good luck on it. All right, I'm going to end this tonight, guys. Good luck. Let's have a good day tomorrow. Looks like maybe we're finally get some selling. Is it actually the market actually going to sell off for a reason? Maybe we'll see some selling in this market.